So today we are going to talk more about the wise sayings of King Solomon. So that's in Proverbs chapter 14. This chapter also has more of his wise sayings, and we'll learn a lot in this chapter. So let's start. In verse 1 says that Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1, it says, Every wise man or every wise woman builds her house. It says, but the foolish pulls it down with her hands. Verse 2 says that he who walks in the uprightness fears the Lord. He who walks in his uprightness fears the Lord. It says, but he who is perverse in his ways despises him. He who is perverse in his ways despises him. Verse 3 says, in the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride. It says, but the lips of the wise will preserve him. Verse 4 says, where no oxen are, says the trough is clean. Where no oxen are, the trough is clean. It says, but much increase comes by the strength of an ox. But much increase comes by the strength of an ox. Verse 5 says that a faithful witness, it says, does not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A false witness will just utter lies, but a faithful one doesn't utter lies. Verse 6 says, a scoffer seeks wisdom and does not find it, but knowledge is easy to him who understands. Verse 7 says, go from the presence of a foolish man. Go from the presence of a foolish man. It says, when you do not perceive in him the lips of knowledge. When you do not perceive a man with the lips of knowledge, just go away from him. Go away from him. Verse 8 says, the wisdom of the prudent is to understand his ways. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his ways. He says, but the folly of fools is deceit. But the folly of fools is deceit. Verse 9 says, fools mock at sin, but among the upright there is favor. Fools mock at sin, but among the upright, it says there is favor. Verse 10, it says, the heart knows its own bitterness. The heart knows its own bitterness. It says, and a stranger does not share its joy. A stranger does not share its joy. Verse 11 says, the house of the wicked will be overthrown, but the tent of the upright will flourish. Verse 12 it says, there's a way which seems right to the man, but its end is the way of death. There's a way that seems right to a man. It says, but its end is the way of death. Its end is the way of death. Verse 13 says, even in laughter the heart may sorrow, and in the end of mirth may be grief. Even in laughter the heart may sorrow, and in the end of mirth may be grief. 14 says that the backslider in heart, or the backslider, in whichever way you pronounce it, it says in heart will be filled with his own ways, but a good man will be satisfied from above. Verse 15 says, the simple believes every word. A simple person just believes every word, but the prudent man considers well his steps. A prudent man doesn't believe every word. He considers his steps very well. Verse 16 says, a wise man fears and departs from evil, but a fool ranges and is self-confident. A wise man fears and departs from evil, he says, but a fool ranges and is self-confident. Verse 17 says, he who is quick-tempered acts foolishly, but a man of wicked intentions is hated. It says verse 18, the simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Verse 19 says, the evil will bow before the good, and the wicked at the gate of the righteous. Verse 20 says, the poor man is hated even by his own neighbors. The poor man is hated even by his own neighbors. He says, but the rich man has many friends. The rich man has many friends. 21 says, he who despises his neighbor sins, but he who has mercy on the poor, happy is he. Happy is he. Verse 22, it says, do they not go astray who devise evil? It says, but mercy and truth belongs to those who devise evil, who devise good. It says, but mercy and truth belongs to those who devise good. Verse 23 says, in all labor there is profit. In all labor there is profit. It says, but idle chatter leads only to poverty. Idle chatter leads only to poverty. Verse 24, it says, the crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. 25 says, a true witness delivers souls. A true witness delivers souls, but a deceitful witness speaks lies. A deceitful witness, it says, speaks lies. Verse 26 says, in the fear of the Lord there is strong confidence. In the fear of the Lord there is strong confidence. And it says, and his children will have a place of refuge. And his children will have a place of refuge. 27 says that the fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. And it says to avoid the snares of death. To avoid the snares of death. Verse 28 says, in a multitude of people is a king's honor, but in the lack of people is the downfall of a prince. Verse 29 says, he who is slow to wrath has great understanding. He who is slow to wrath has great understanding. But he who is impulsive exalts folly. He who is impulsive exalts folly. It says, verse 30 says, a good heart is life to the body. A good heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones. 31 says, he who oppresses the poor reproaches his maker, but he who honors him has mercy on the needy. 32 says, the wicked is banished in his wickedness, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. The wicked is banished in his wickedness, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. Verse 33 says, wisdom rests quietly. Wisdom rests quietly in the heart of him who has understanding. But what is in the heart of fools is made known. What is in the heart of fools is made known. 34 says, righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. 35 says, the king's favor is towards a wise servant, but his wrath is against him who causes shame. 35, the king's favor is towards a wise servant, but his wrath is against him who causes shame. His wrath is against him who causes shame. There's a couple of verses I want us to point out in this chapter, and I think it will help us a lot. It will help us a lot. So Proverbs chapter 14 verse 15 tells us that, as we read, it says, the simple believes every word. Don't be a simple person. Always consider every step you take. Always consider every choice you make. Always consider everything you decide to do, because behind those decisions are consequences. Every yes has a consequence. Every no has a consequence. So consider your ways. Consider your ways. It says the prudent man considers well his steps. prudent man considers well his steps. And I'll talk about the next verse. The next verse is 16. It says, a wise man fears and departs from evil. A wise man fears and departs from evil. I say when you are wise, it doesn't mean that you should be in the midst of evil. No. A wise man is not even found in the midst of evil. He's not even found in the midst of wicked people. He's afraid to even be in their midst because he knows that their ways are wicked and their ways leads to death. So he won't find himself in that area, or he won't find himself in that company. He will depart from evil. It says, but a fool ranges and is self-confident. But a fool rages and is self-confident. Don't be like the fool. Don't be like the fool. Don't be like the fool. And I also like to talk about 23, Proverbs 14:23. It says, in all labor there is profit. In all labor there is profit. Whatever you are doing, whatever work you are working on, there is profit. Yeah. It can be small, it can be big, it can be not that much, it can be okay, it can be, but there is profit. There is profit in every labor. Most of the times we think that everyone is supposed to be like the top um, people, but everyone cannot be like the top people. Everyone has his own um, play they should play in this world. Everyone has its own roles that they should play in this world. Not everyone can be at the top 1%. Not everyone can have billions and no. But if you desire it, the Bible makes us to understand that as a man thinketh, so is he. If you desire it, you can have it. But it doesn't mean that everyone can have it. If the person decides not to have it, he won't have it. That's it. So he says, in all labor there is profit. In all labor there is profit. Whichever work you are doing, there's a profit in it. There's profit. Sometimes it may not be only about money, but it can be about you getting to meet people, you getting to know more people, you getting to network with other people. Networking, if you go to a place where you're working and at least you're able to connect with big people, that is a profit because not everyone has that opportunity. That's a profit. That's a profit. And we'll talk about the last verse in verse 30. It says, a good heart is life to the body. A good heart is life to the body. A good heart is life to the body. And this verse is actually telling the truth. Let's go to the health sector. Anyone that has a good heart is likely to live longer. But someone who has a bad heart is likely to die within weeks or within months or within days. So this is not just about health, like our organ, the heart organ inside us. This is not just about that. This is also about our conscience, whatever we think about. Whatever we think about. Most of the time when the Bible mentions heart, it's not talking about the organ we have in our um, body. It's talking about our conscience, our mind, what we think about. That's why it says that the heart of a man is desperately wicked. So this verse is trying to tell us that we should have a good and a sound heart. A heart that cares. A heart that is not thinking about wicked things. A heart that is thinking about giving good things. A heart that is willing to serve. A heart that is very good at helping people. That's the heart that this chapter is talking about. It says, and that heart is life to the body. That heart is life to the body. When you have good mindset for people, when you are always caring about people, it's good for you. You end up sleeping happily. You even end up dying happily because you did the good things, you did the right things, you were happy for people, you were there for them. That's a good heart. It's life to the body. He says, but envy is rottenness to the bones. Don't be envy. Don't envy people. Don't envy people. Your life is different from theirs. Your life is different from theirs. Someone can be called to be somewhere. Someone can decide that he's going to be a doctor. Someone can decide he's going to be something. Don't envy them. Learn from them. That's fine. Learn from them, but don't be envious of them. Anytime you are envious of someone, your heart is in a bad state. Your heart is in a bad state. So don't envy them. Learn from them. Learn from them. Maybe you want to um, build a business. Don't envy those who have started business and are making more money. Learn from them. How did they do it? Which step did they take? Which method did they use? How did they start? And where did they go? Learn all these things. Don't envy them. Don't envy them. Don't envy them. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you tomorrow for Proverbs chapter 15. I'm glad I'm doing this each and every time I read the Bible. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.